Welcome to the Beard Speaks podcast. Hey, all right, guys, what's going on? It's Pat here with the Beard Speaks podcast. That's right. I am back. It's been a hot minute, right? I took a long little vacation from podcasting, guys, but all is well. I am back. The show's still kicking, and wow, you guys have shown up in numbers while I was gone and have been downloading the show and listening to the show, and man, that warms my heart, man. Thank you very much. But hey, happy Father's Day out there. This episode, as you see in the title, we are going to talk about Father's Day and the importance of fathers and kids' lives, right? Exactly. So where have I been, man? So thank you guys again for always showing up and always listening to the show. And yeah, I did take some time off. Speaking of fathers, I spent I had an amazing trip. My son had surprised me with a trip to Europe. So we had an amazing trip, just some father and son bonding out there. And then I was in New York. Finally, after years, got to see the 9/11 memorial there and stand there where the towers were. And wow, man, just something that takes your breath away. It's amazing how many lives are lost there on 9/11. But I've always wanted to go, and just it's been, not in the cards to go to New York, but I was able to go, and wow, yeah, it was just breathtaking, man. But shout out to all my buddies and friends out there in New York City, baby. All right, guys, so we are back. I've got a lot of killer stuff lined up for the Beard Speaks podcast. But for today, again, like I said, I want to talk about Father's Day. I want to just say thank you again for everyone and give it a little shout out, obviously, to all the cities that have been checking in while I've been gone, man. So again, to Chicago, Illinois, thank you guys so much. Singapore's been checking in. Scottsdale, Arizona. Dallas, Texas. Des Moines, Iowa. What's happening in Iowa? Los Angeles, California. Hey, what's going on out there in Los Angeles, man? Anyway, I digress. Columbus, Ohio. What's happening? Washington, Virginia. Miami, Florida. Minneapolis, Minnesota. San Antonio, Texas. Park Ridge, Illinois. What is going on in Park Ridge, Illinois? I don't know. I used to love you guys out there. I tell you, you guys are disappointing me. Austin, Texas, what's happening? Hotlanta, Georgia, what's going on, Atlanta? Houston, Texas. Portage, Indiana, what's happening, Portage? New York, New York. What did we just talk about, baby? Love my listeners from New York City and what's happening. Seattle, Washington. We got Burbank, Illinois. We've got Madrid. Hey, man, what's going on, Madrid? Springfield, Illinois. We got Milwaukee, Wisconsin checking in. Las Vegas, Nevada, Auburn, Washington, Denver, Colorado, Brooklyn, New York. Man, I ate at this killer deli out in Brooklyn. Man, I got to tell you, I did New York. You guys are in my heart, baby. Waterloo, Iowa. Man, my friends from Waterloo, how are you guys doing, baby? Waterloo, Iowa. Shout out to you guys. Lebanon, Tennessee. Beijing. What's up, China? Hey, checking in the Beard Speaks podcast. I love it. Philadelphia. All right. What's up, Pennsylvania? We've got Kansas City, Missouri, Tampa, Florida, Round Lake, Illinois, Billings, Montana. What's up, Montana? Fort Thomas, Kentucky, Wheaton, Illinois, Cincinnati, Ohio. Man, the list is going on. Clinton, Tennessee. What's up, my friends in Tennessee? Plainfield, Illinois, Jacksonville, Florida, Madison, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh. Man, again, the list is just going crazy. And like I said, probably a couple episodes ago, we have hit every continent, man. So that just makes me smile, man. It's amazing that you guys are all checking out the Beard Speaks podcast and again, share it with your friends, man. Check out www.thebeardspeakspodcast.com. Links to all our socials are there. Follow us on TikTok. Get us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Go check out the YouTube channel because we got content on there, and we're going to be picking up a little bit more on that. But yeah, guys, and where can you listen to the Beard Speaks podcast? Well, I'm glad you asked. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Listen Notes, Player FM, Good Pods, and True Friends, man. True fans, true friends, true fan. Hey, I got some true friends on True Fans, man. All right, so let's get into it, man. Yeah, so definitely had a great time traveling, and it just kind of took me away from just getting to sit down here and schedule guests or, come up with some topics to talk about when, you're just so busy between traveling and then you get home and, you're barely unpacked and then you're back on a plane going somewhere else. So it was a lot going on the last several months. And I just had to take a little step back, but and a lot of other things going on in life, man. So we can all relate. So dads out there, I do want to I want to talk a little bit about Father's Day for the alienated parents. I know we talk a lot about that. The last episode was all about that, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So it's really hard. There's so many fathers I have met that are just fighting to be with their kids, and they're not able to. So what do we contribute that to, man? Right? Parental alienation is horrible, but I just I want to say that to those fathers out there, happy Father's Day to you guys, to the silent brotherhood of men just enduring this nightmare of parental alienation. Right. And so all of my friends out there that I've made through, support groups and just chatting, you guys have had your kids basically legally kidnapped by a toxic ex playing a victim. And I see you guys, man. I do. You are incredible fathers. And the empty silence today doesn't change that. The truth always comes to light, man. And one day, your children will wake up and see who is actually the real problem. So just keep fighting out there. Just no matter what the lies are that are told about you or how much distance is forced between you and your kids, just take pride in who you are. You're still a father. And they can never take that away from you. Ever. And I know it's hard, man. Those of you who listen to my show, I've dropped hints off here and there. But I've gone through the same thing, right? Now, you gotta really focus on what's important in life and be the best father you can be, the best you can be. Because when your kids come back to you, you need to be that pillar of strength, right? It's so hard, man, and I get it. I've gone through this, and it's tough. I fought this battle for 6 years in family court, and all family court does is create this tension between the two parents that go in there. And if the other parent brings that child into the middle of this whole toxic fight, that's where parental alienation starts, because they really look at they don't look at the big picture. They want to hurt you by putting your child in the middle. So I get it, and I feel you guys. It's not easy. And one of the things you have to understand is, even though right now the kids don't see it, and you bite your tongue and never say anything bad about the other parent. I mean, right off the bat, that's not who you are. That's not who you should be. All right. You stay focused on being the better parent, and you stay focused on being you and being the best you can be, as I said. Because the kids will figure it out. They wake up one day and they will see who was causing all the problems. And does it suck, man? Does it suck that you're missing this time right now with your kids? Yeah. No, I know that, man. I feel that. All right, now, as we sit today, now my case has been pretty much over. And my daughter turns 18 in about 5 months. And I have not seen my daughter since September of 2025. And prior to that, I was only granted 3.4 days a month to even, I mean, you're not even fathers out there, hear me out, right? You're not even a father at that point. They have just made you a visitor, an acquaintance. And they expect you to build this bond and reunify with your kids on every other weekend. If that, right? I mean, if you really break down the hours, how much time you have with your kids, you get that dinner during the week, like you're like a peon. Hey, yeah, here's one day during the week, right? Go have dinner with your kid. But make sure you get them back at the house to the abuser, right? And then the kids go back to that same environment where they're being brainwashed to hate you. The lies, the stories come out, and it sucks. Now, this doesn't happen to everybody. Thank God. I mean, but there's enough of us out there that it is happening to. But the ones that are lucky enough to have 50-50 parenting time, I mean, that's awesome. And that's what it should be. And I've always been an advocate that children need both parents. No matter how screwed up the other parent is, as long as that parent is not mentally abusing, physically abusing the child, putting them in danger. There's parents out there who are doing drugs, and they still get to keep their kids. I mean, that's just how messed up our whole system is, just to begin with. We got to think about that. But if you really look at that, you are being treated worse than a criminal for doing absolutely nothing. You get false allegation after false allegation. And I know, guys, I've been there, right? And, again, if you are a listener, a listener of my show, this is not just, I'm not bashing on moms. Never will do that, because I have some very close friends now that are moms that have gone through this. Okay? Because it does happen on both sides, but it's Father's Day. So, I'm shouting out to the dads out there to listen to the show, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to be fair because, in all fairness, like I said, I do believe that kids deserve both parents, but there are situations where, it shouldn't be, right? So, to you guys out there who have the luxury of having that time with your kids, spend that time with your kids, man. Start to really focus on that, right? I lost a lot of time over the last 6 years. You get dragged into this fight. The minute you walk in there, you're labeled already, and you're 10 steps behind everything, regardless of all the evidence you have. No matter what you've got, you are the bad guy. And you have to sit there and fight and prove yourself. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. And you guys know that, right? So if you have 50-50, man, and you have, if you have a week with your kids and then the kids go off another week, or however they split that up, thank God, man. Thank God for that. And I'm happy for you, man. And it's awesome. And I love seeing that. I love to see parents that really have all this time with their kids, man. I love to see dads out there thriving and being the best dads you can be. And to all of you out there that, haven't seen your kids for years. Again, I have friends like that that I've met through, going through this and speaking out. And, I've met some that have not seen their children in years. And I was lucky enough, even though the pain of the alienation and all the stuff that I went through. And, at some point I will, we'll do an episode where, I can kind of go more deep into that. But right now, I'm just kind of giving you guys a high level, but it sucks. It sucks to sit there and, go through all of this. But the worst is literally watching your child slip away little by little by little as the alienation grips, right? And every holiday, every Father's Day, you have to scratch and crawl and beg to be with your child, right? Your rights as a father come from God. And here in the States, our Constitution protects those rights. But once you walk into family court, and you guys have heard me talk about this over and over again, those rights are out the window. They do not honor those rights. And they cause chaos among the family. And they feed on the anger of both parents. Billable hours, baby, right? Keeps you guys coming back to court. Continue. Status. And then they bring in all the actors, all the therapists and, the counseling and everything. So they can bill you and drain you dry. And in the meantime, you're watching this child you created that you love more than anything completely slip away. And then everything changes in their head, right? The story's gone, into a whole different direction because you're the bad one. And there's something to be said about the kids in their environment. Now, I've studied learning theory, and one of the things that you learn, which is just obvious, you don't even have to study it to realize that we are all a product of our environment. I've talked about this before. So the kids are in this environment constantly, 99.9% of the time, and then you get them, and all of a sudden you start seeing that change. And dads out there, man, I know, I'm with you. I've been there. I've seen it until the very end where they just strip the children away from you. And now you don't have your kids anymore and you don't even know what the hell happened. It's hard to stay focused on work. It's hard to stay focused on anything else that's going on in life, And if you're married, you got to count your blessings, man, that you have that woman that stands by your side through all of this stuff. So my advice on Father's Day, you're not going to get that text. You're not going to get the phone call. Focus on you. Like I said earlier, you're still a father. They can't take that from you. They can drag your name through the mud. They can do, they can do that. But they can't take away the fact that you're still a father. So spend the day getting yourself on track. Be a better you. Right. And understand that one day, just keep being present. Keep sending text messages, send letters. The letters probably get thrown away. Gifts probably get thrown away. Or, keep a box at home and write letters to your kids. Put them in the box. If you're out somewhere and you see something that your kid might like, buy it. Put it in the box. One day when they turn around and they come back, you hand them that box with all these gifts and all these things, and they'll know you have been thinking about them all this time. And there's no promise to how long this is going to take. I mean, we really don't know, right? But kids' brains are not developed when all this stuff started. You know, they could be 2 years old, 5 years old, 11 years old. You know, even at 18, they might not get it. Might not get it till they have their own kids. Yeah, I mean, it's a long time to wait, guys. I know. And I know the pain is real. But you're not alone out there. There's a lot of people going through this. And it seems like now it's been more than ever. And it doesn't make any sense. But we have to kind of band together. You know, find support groups out there. I've said this before a million times. I talk about it all the time. Send me an email, man. thebeardspeakspodcast@gmail.com. Reach out. I can point you in some directions. You know, there's hope out there. And there are people that can help you. I mean, there's no reason to go down a dark path, right? I've seen that. I've been on phone calls where I've talked some parents off, both moms and dads, you know, off the edge because that gut-wrenching pain that they can't see their own child, the child that loved them, you helped raise, you helped take care of. All of a sudden, they're saying, "No, you've never done anything." And though that child has always hated you, and you know what? Screw you. You're gone. You're out. You don't get to see your kid. Then you turn around and say, well, where's this evidence? Where's this proof of something I've done wrong? But they don't they don't show any of that, right? It's just the word of the narcissistic parent that is creating this narrative and brainwashing the child, along with all the other bad actors in the family court that come in and just boom, they just, you know, oh, this is the angle, and they just twist a knife even harder, and then they take your kids away from you for absolutely nothing. I feel you guys, man. I do because it's happened to me. So how do I deal with it? Well, it's not easy, right? But I focus on work. I focus on, you know, my son. I do have, my son's 28 years old now. Great kid from my first marriage. And he and I, like I said, we've been focusing on each other and hanging out. We had a fantastic trip, you know, and I've got my amazing stepkids out there too. You know, and they're older, but, you know, when you get my age, everyone's a kid. Anyone under 40, you're a kid. But one thing, I learned that until you're 40 years old, I don't think you really figure out life. I thought I knew everything before 40, but no, you don't. Life throws a lot of stuff at you, man, and it takes a minute to figure it out, but I'm going to say 40 is the benchmark. 40, 45, you start to figure shit out. But here at 55 years old, I can tell you the stuff I thought I knew before 40. Yeah, forget about it. So, spend time, you know, with loved ones, family, and really try to connect back with your roots. Stay grounded, man. You know, really try to find what makes you, you. I mean, you know, as a father, you know, we look at our kids and, you know, you really focus on that and say, yeah, man, that's my identity. I'm a father. But you're more than that, right? You got to remember that. What made you, you before you had kids? And be that person. Be that person, because when those kids come back again, you need to be put together. You can't be falling apart. Don't be turning to alcohol and drugs, man. That stuff is just bad to begin with. Okay? I know, like I said, I've talked to some parents that have just had a hard time with this. Not everybody, you know, can just pull their head out of their ass. But you have to. And you got to find a way to do it, right? Reach out, like I said, find. There's places out there. Just reach out. I can point you in the right direction, but there's people that you can talk to that can help you. And I know Father's Day comes around is one of the hardest ones for us dads, that have been alienated, erased, if you will. If you've been just sitting by the phone all day thinking, it's got to happen today. It's Father's Day. They'll text me. I mean, you can't hang on to that. You just can't. You have to really focus on what matters, and that is that one day those kids will come back, and you, like I said, I'm going to keep repeating myself, you need to be a rock. You need to understand that when they do come back, they cannot have a broken parent. You cannot allow that to happen. So you have to do the best you can to focus on you. And at the end of the day, you've planted the seeds. If you had a relationship, like for me, I had a relationship for 12 years before my daughter the light switch went off because of the alienation. Right? That's a lot of seed planting. Okay. Fantastic relationship. And then it just flipped on a dime. You know why? So just remember, if you had that same situation where you've had a lot of time with your kids and all of a sudden, they use, they brainwash them, and then they use the teenage years are the toughest, man. Right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. You want to hang out with your parents? No. Right? We wanted to go off and do our own thing. We all were there, It's something you have to really think about, and you have to understand, okay, look, they're going through this at the same time, right? They're going through puberty. They're going through, teenage angst. They're going through all this stuff in school, or they just started high school, whatever's going on in their lives. They've got enough pressure, right? And on top of all that, they've got these evil people brainwashing them and alienating them. So just imagine the conflict that they feel, right? When they have one parent basically using that kid as a security blanket because they're so, they have no self-esteem. They have no emotion. Nothing, right? They're just empty inside. To think that they can erase another parent when that child is 50% both of you. So what makes you think you're going to erase the other parent? You can't, right? You can't. You never will. Every time that kid looks in the mirror, they're going to see the other parent because they're half the other parent. And I don't know how many times I have to say this, right? Do I have to say it for all the people sitting in the back row? I mean, man, wake up. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is screwing up those kids. But, these types of people will never learn, and they will never, they'll never figure it out. Even when the kid wakes up and turns around and says, hey, mom, dad, whoever the alienator is, and say, yeah, you ruined my life. You took away precious time and moments with my father or my mother for absolutely no reason, for your selfish reasons. They're going to figure it out. It's inevitable. But I guarantee you that those parents that do this to their kids will still stand there and blame somebody else. It's what they do. And you know what? And again, even with that being said, I still believe the kids need both parents in their lives, I honestly think, and it's hard, I'm trying. Hey, I'm trying really hard to walk with Christ here and try to do the right thing and not have anger wash over me, right? And say things that I know the devil's speaking in one ear and saying, oh, screw that person, but you got to pray for them, man. You got to pray that one day maybe they get help. I don't know. I don't even know what the answer is. But they need help. Right? Because they are lost, man. These people are just lost. I can't imagine ever putting a child in the middle of anything. You're in a relationship, it didn't work out. Man, move on. It's a huge world out there, man. Move on. But to sit there and try to play the victim, and again, because it's Father's Day, I'm gonna pick on the alienating mothers right now. And you got fathers, you got good fathers out there, stable fathers that work their ass off. They pay all these attorney fees. They pay the child support. They buy the gifts. They take the kids to dinner. They take them to the movies. They do everything they can for their children. And you still strip them away. Those types of people, I don't even think they understand that they need help. I mean, it's a sickness. It's evil, right? Now, I sound like a broken record. I mean, I've talked about this, I don't know how many times, but today it hits the hardest, man. So I wanted to get it behind the mic and, just come on the show and really speak to the fathers out there, because I know, right? I know that you guys are hurting. I know there's many of you out there because family court has failed you. You thought you were walking in there. You had your evidence. Hey, I'm good to go. And they failed you. The system failed you. And I just want to say, I'm sorry. I understand. Right? You always got a friend here at The Beard Speaks. Like I said, reach out. And, if you want to tell your story on our show, please come on the show and tell your story. Your kids will hear it one day. They'll understand. They'll know. They know you're fighting for them. They know you show up. Right? It's like you have your children out there that are drowning and you're trying to throw these life support vests out there and you're trying to help them and it just, you can't reach them. And I know nothing hurts more than that. But you gotta stay grounded. You guys gotta stay grounded and you gotta focus, right? And then focus on, like I said, the good things, right? You gotta focus on the good things. The time will come, slowly but surely. And that's like the worst thing you want to hear. Nobody wants to hear that. Oh, yeah, it'll be, I used to say, okay, yeah, whatever. Because I know I was there where you are. If you're in the first year or the second year of this thing, get to 6 years. Get to 6 years. And there's people that have gone through this for 11 years, right? I've talked to some people that have been doing it for, a decade, fighting, spending all their money just to be a father. That's it. Working 2-3 jobs, have nothing in their home, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, just to be a father. It's disgusting, but it's the machine, man. And it'll suck you in because you love your kids that much that you just keep fighting, you keep showing up, and they just keep tearing you down. The harder you fight, the more they tear you down. And then your kids are looking at like, damn, shit, Dad can't get anywhere with this. He's not, maybe he is. What they say he is. And then they got everyone tweeting in, like a tweet, like in their ear, like a little bird. Oh, yeah, your dad this, your dad that. Right? And some of them, in some cases, have other family members. Those people are even more evil. If you are listening if you're out there listening and your daughter or your sister, right, is alienating their child from their father, shame on you. That is disgusting. And then you help along too, right? I was on the phone. I'm not using names, but I was on the phone with a parent about a week or so ago that had a mother-in-law helping the son alienate the daughter from her own mother. I mean, you just can't get more evil than that. That's brutal. It's just, that's disgusting, right? Where do you even get off? I mean, as a family member, it's not even your kid, number one. And number two, you're gonna go ahead and help the alienator. But I see it all the time, right? Friends, family, whatever. It's almost like they're afraid of that evil parent. I can't, You can't what? You can't say anything? You can't slap them around? Well, okay, I don't condone violence, guys. But you can't just shake them a little bit and say, what are you doing? Do you see what you're doing to your own kid? Wake up. Because you're just destroying that child's life. That child should have, because when you, and I said this in the last episode, when you alienate a parent, it's not just the parent, you're alienating their whole family. Because now you're trying to erase the rest of the family on the other side. All right, some have other siblings. I've heard stories where just one child was alienated and the other one or two were perfectly fine. But you're erasing the rest of the rest of the family on the other side. You can have alien grandparents that don't get to see their kids anymore, their grandkids anymore. Sick and disgusting as that is. It's out there. It's happening to me right now. Right? Shout out to my dad out there. Happy Father's Day and birthday. But yeah, my dad's suffering from Parkinson's disease. That's a tough road. He doesn't get to see his granddaughter. So what does that tell you? When a whole family doesn't get to see the child anymore, that's parental alienation. Plain and simple. But, this happens and it keeps continuing. The circle keeps, it just keeps going, right? So dads out there who are going through this, happy Father's Day. You guys are awesome. Focus on you. There's so much out there right now. This movement has been picking up a lot of steam. There's a lot of guys out there. I've interviewed a few. There's a lot of people out there that are really doing what they can to help other parents. Some of us are trying to change laws, family court laws in different states. Here in Illinois, I'm trying to do that. So if you're wondering, yeah, that's something that needs to be done. But the whole system is set up to just break you financially, mentally, emotionally, and then just basically kidnap your children from you. So we need reform. We need something. Something's got to happen. But there's a lot of guys out there, there's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of, Facebook and, a lot of guys doing videos about, hey man, dads, blah, blah, blah. And that's all awesome, right? Because, fathers, we all need somewhere to turn. But it's like, who's going to help you, right? That is one of the things that I always look at. It's awesome to have someone to talk to. It's awesome to have someone to turn to. It's amazing to see, hey, it's not just me, man. right? It's happening to everybody else. I listen to these stories or I read these stories online, and it's almost like I'm looking in the mirror. It's almost as if they have a handbook on how to alienate a child, right? But that's the behavior. I mean, that's why they call it out as parental alienation. It's there's certain things that happen and that you watch happen over and over again, right? It's that behavior, right? That parent has no self-esteem. They have nothing. Like I said, they're empty. They have no self-worth. So they all have the same mechanism to pull those kids into it and do that to them. You know, and as a father, as a targeted parent, I feel you, you know, because this is a tough thing. And the only answer I can give you guys, again, like I said, I can point you in the right direction. There is hope in darkness. They're an amazing organization, and pretty soon I'm going to have them on the show to talk about what they're doing that sets them apart to try to help families kind of navigate through all of this. There's a lot going on right now out there. Everyone's attacking it from a different angle. Everyone means well because they're, in the end, thinking about the kids, right? Because that's the most important thing here. At the end of the day, we will survive, right? I mean, we're adults. We'll survive. It hurts? Yes. It sucks? Yes. But we'll survive. But the kids, you got to end the cycle, man. The kids are the ones that suffer. And again, like I sound like a broken record, but it's got to stop. So there's a lot of places out there that are trying, a lot of organizations are trying to get out there and do different things. Their messaging is pretty much the same, though. I mean, we got to end court corruption. We got to end parental alienation. And there are some people out there calling out, that there is no such thing as parental alienation. I don't know. Shame on you, because there is. And there's thousands of parents that can tell you that it's real. Okay, there are studies out there that tell you that it's real. There's, tons of info on parental alienation, and we know what it is, and we know it's happening. So we need to stop it. So get a hold of me, thebeardspeakspodcast@gmail.com, and I can get you in touch with some of the right people and get you some help. And if you just want to talk, you want to, tell out your story, I'm here for that too. I've gone and check out my TikTok. I've gone on TikTok, I don't know how many videos I put out there. And I've interviewed a few parents, and if you go back a couple episodes, you'll hear some of the stories, and it's horrible. But they're always the same. Again, it's the same thing going on. And the kids are suffering. And the parents are breaking down because they don't get to see their kids. No, it's tough. It's tough, but you got to hang in there, and you got to make the best of everything else in your life, right? So, again, you guys, I really appreciate you guys listening and sharing the show. I mean, like I said, I took this break, and I'm refreshed. Like I said, I had a great time with my son, bonding with him over in Rome, and we had a fantastic time checking out the Drift Masters event out there. Man, what an amazing event! It was great. Definitely, I advise you guys, man, if you can do that, and you can spend time, with, if you have another child out there that you can spend time with, or a nephew or something. I mean, do it, right? Make yourself better. Make an impact. Make that work. Find a church if that's your thing. Get in with some men's groups, that type of thing. Talk it out. But it helps. It helps me, man. And like I said, I've been focusing on all this other stuff and doing really well. And this is what really helps people come together and get through all of this stuff. And there are people out there that do lose your friends. There's always a snake in the grass, man. I don't know what's up with some of these guys and girls out there. I don't know, man. Get your shit together. That's all I could say. But, hey, you know what? We're only human. And, God made us imperfect. And that's just what it is. All right, guys. So, until we come back on the next show, please check out www.thebeardspeakspodcast.com. All of our social media is there. Check us out. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I love you guys. God bless. See you later.